So I'm sure you've heard a lot of misconceptions when it comes to children of Orishas and all the stereotypes. I'm here to break those stereotypes and give you the true essence of what children of certain Orishas are. This is going to be the Ochum edition and the essence of a child of Oshun. But an Orisha Oshun, she's definitely the epitome in the Orisha of love. And to understand that why you needed this Orisha, that love was going to be threatened to be taken away very early on in your life and throughout stages. And that Ochum was there to guard your love. Ochum was there to help identify the love that you need and how to love, and not let that vibration stop vibrating. And what I mean is that a lot of times that love could be attacked very early on in your life. Possibly could have suffered child abuse. And that mission is to provide some type of comfort and love to the people that is going to be in your life, either a person or people, and for yourself. And the negative forces are going to try to create circumstances and situations that will attack that and make you have an unhealthy relationship with love, a misidentity when it comes to love. And that's why when negative forces come and attack you when you're younger, through abuse or through males or through people, situations, and never having any male person be that healthy love for you, that's one way. And then you end up having an unhealthy identity with that, and you attract the unhealthy love. But Ochum was always there to make sure that your innocence will be protected. No matter what you suffer through, you can still not lose the ability to love. And she's always there to remind yourself to be self-loving. We feel sometimes responsible. And a lot of Ochum kids can suffer a lot of heartache and feel responsible for things that have happened to them. And that's something that Ochum's energy, the undying love, will provide for you, and to give you that essence so you don't lose that love. Sometimes it'll happen throughout life. As you get older, you may suffer a death of a loved one. You may suffer a true love and have someone taken away to create that hurt and create that devastation. But Ochum was always there. Ochum's energy is there to make sure that, you know what, you suffered that, you mourned that, you mourned that version of yourself when you were little, you suffer that, you mourn that, and you let it go. But Ochum is there to make sure that you can fight through that, and that hurt didn't end up driving you mentally unstable. Because those are the things that can happen within a child of Ochum. There's another misconception when it comes to Ochum. A lot of times, people see the mirrors with Ochum. And a lot of art and a lot of statues have her holding the mirror. Some try to make that part of her tools. But the mirror is a reflection that can only give back truth. And even though Ochum, with all her beauty, with everything that she possessed, she was always doing self-reflection. She had to look into the mirror to see exactly, without filters, without people's opinion of the truth, without your subconscious opinion of yourself. The mirror can only reflect what is. And she found space in that. because the rivers and the waters can give that reflection. And she's always showing that reflection. As you see the trees have their reflection. When you look down into the water, you see a reflection. You always, with a mirror, you always have that element of the water. And always giving back truth. And that's something that Ochum kids have to learn how to do, is to always, always, always be doing self-reflection. Because that's something that will be your saving grace. At the end of the day, the need and the cause for reflection is going to be your key for success. Because you will always have truth looking back at you. Another thing about Ochum is that there's always a need to be guarding over your motherhood and your parenthood. Especially for female Ochums, there's a lot of things that can go on when it comes down to mothering and parenting children. A lot of children of Ochum can suffer bad relationships with their children. And a lot of these children will make them feel bad. And a lot of times, a parent, a child of Ochum, can fall into that osogbo, that negativity and the low vibrations, and abandon the children. And for those that are there for their children, those children can abandon them. There's always a struggle in the dynamics between the parent and child. And some children of Ochum have gone through stages where they may have abandoned their children. They were not there for their children. And then some are loving their children and giving them everything. And then the children end up abandoning them. So it's a lot of understanding the balance when it comes to parenthood. And a lot of understanding that that's a struggle that's going to have to be worked through. A big aspect about Ochum is understanding and guarding your womb area. Understanding that Ochum needs to have an awareness and self-care regarding the womb. And sometimes there are things that can attack the womb, causing problems against pregnancy, challenges with pregnancy, being susceptible to abortions. It's always a vibration that's attracting negativities and attacking the womb, either through abuse, through abortions, through cysts and fibroids, attacking the womb. So to be aware of that very early on is to do things to guard your womb. Be very careful who you allow in your womb, who you allow to be in that space, in that sacred, creative, kundalini, sacral space that regards your womb, because that is your power. And there will be forces that will try to take it. So you have to be very guarded about that energy that becomes intertwined through the womb. People and situations, there's a need to discard. There is a need to let go. There is a need to cord cut, because children of Ochum tend to hang on to those cords longer than others, because that is such a strong vibration there. So understanding that there's a strong vibration, those things last longer with people and past experiences. So you cannot be reckless when it comes to children of Ochum, when it comes to intimacy and having sexual promiscuity. You have to understand that there's a connection that cannot be broken like others, and that there's a need to have some type of conscientious and discernment of awareness about who you allow into that space. I've seen it amongst children of Ochum. I've seen them go through a lot. I've seen the families around them going through hurt and struggle. I've seen them, all things going on, and they're still within their vibration, that Ochum is allowing them to still smile and have happiness. Picture Ochum inside a world collapsing, and she's just there smiling, walking through everything, being all right. You guys carry that ability. Remember, no matter what's going on around you, Ochum children have the ability to smile and find happiness and joy despite all of that. That is a most guarded attribute. Never, ever take that for granted. Ochum represents in the waters of Ochum, and the reason why we always go to Ochum, and people forget this and they don't understand that why every initiate, whether it be Olorisha, whether it be Babalawo, always, before anything starts, before any initiations, the day before the initiations, before being reborn again, we go back to the river. And that is because they're just going inside the embryonic fluid that resides within the womb. The gestation period. In Ochum, children can always find themselves, take that water, cleanse them, rebirth, and start over. Start over from that gestation period of that purest energy with the untouched world. Ochum will bless you with that. Ochum is telling you, I can do that for you. You are my child. Come back to my home. With these waters, the only thing is you got to have intention. When you're taking some of this water inside the Ochum, and you have that ability, and Ochum children, like any other, can have that energy, frequency, vibrations cleansed and rebooted. Never forget that. A river never runs backwards. A river only goes in one direction. That's one of the most beautiful things about the river and about understanding the flow. You go to her, you develop that connection, you develop that frequency, and she will point you in the right way, in the direction that you need to go. It's an inherent ability that children of Ochum have amongst all the other Orishas, is knowing inherently where to go. Now, whether or not you follow that direction highly depends on you. But she will give you the answer in the direction you need to go. You also have to understand is, why is honey her offering? Why is honey her adimu? It's the only thing that we know today that will never spoil. Honey that has been jarred up and kept over 100 years cannot lose its organic condition, and it can never spoil. To understand what you have inside of you is something that can never spoil. That's why she's giving you the energy of your love, your self-love, your vibrations. Those things can never spoil. It has the ability to still remain fresh, no matter what life has given you. Remember that. Understanding there's a Bataki where there was a burning house and a Rumila was inside. And all the Orishas were screaming and saying, Arumila's inside, Arumila's inside, and nobody wanted to enter. They were all screaming, all the Orishas, Arumila's inside, it's burning, he's trapped. And Ochum was yelling at everybody. What are you doing? What is your problem? Go get him. And she went in herself. She went in herself into that house, that burning building, looking for Rumila. And she made it all the way to the house, went out to the other side of the house. When she came on the other side, she saw Rumila there, and Rumila was there, and he saw that she was the only one who came through looking for him. There's a reason why Arumila's colors always have the balance of the other color, that is the yellow or the amber or the coral, in reference to Ochum. Because understanding that Ochum is also the epitome of the Abetibi. Ochum, in the path of Ochum Olodi, is what brought balance to Orumila. And so children of Ochum understand that the connection with Ifa is like any other Orisha. To the fact that Orumila made that an embodiment of him and his colors. That is a gift and a tribute to her energy. There's nothing that we do in this religion without Ochum and without an Abetibi. And that's why children of Ochum have to understand that a connection with Ifa. Not just Orishas, but Ifa. Another great quality about Ochum is the wealth. Ochum can provide a lot of riches. A lot of riches. All you got to do is show her that you're ready. She will provide, like any other Orisha there is. She has the wealth and the blessings because Olofi gave it to her and gave it to her to bring judgment. In the Odu Irosunka is where Ochum brought money to the world. But it came with cost. It came with consequences. So trust me when I tell you, if you are hurting financially, you need to connect with Ochum, you need to connect to the essence, you need to self-reflect, you need to do all those things, and the money will flow easily. Because just like the river, it's about the flow. Ochum children have to learn how to surrender to the flow and not be in resistance to a lot of the things that Ochum is trying to bring. The last thing on Ochum is what I'm going to tell you is that she represents in Oshe is the shackles. And a lot of times people don't understand what the songs mean. Iri were were nita Ochum, iri were were. Iri were were nita Ochum, iri were were nita iya. O chicken niwa nita Ochum, cheke nita iya. Iri were were. The cheke. It's the sound of her bracelets. And her brass bracelets was always a reminder of wealth. But it was also a reminder of the shackles that was put on top of her and put on top of all the slaves and people who will become enslaved. That you have the ability to break free. And the children of Ochum have to understand, what are your shackles? What are your mental shackles? What are your emotional shackles? What are people trying to shackle you with? What is your partner? What is a boss? What is a job? What is a family? What is a community? What is your world trying to control you with shackles? Ochum's reminding you, hey, take off the shackles. Be free. Be free to love yourself and be free to love others and be free to love life. And just allow it to flow. Ashe.